A sudden attack shattered the calm, leaving Sue standing in shock. Sue felt weak and embarrassed, struggling to even access his clothes from his spatial ring. Sue felt anxious about what his senior might think of him, worrying he'd leave a bad impression. Sue carried the distressed character, his worry evident as he sought a safe place for her to rest. A rush of emotions surged through her as she wondered why her heart was racing so close to a man. Sue urged a seated character to rest, promising to collect rare flowers and herbs nearby. Sue held a garment towards the surprised female character, his expression flustered and uncertain. A gentle atmosphere enveloped the room as an observer admired Sue's calm demeanor. The other character expressed that he was really gentle. A warm connection blossomed as a young man with dark hair reached out for Sue's hand in a moment filled with hope. Sue examined a ring with a contemplative expression, realizing this Tier 3 elite squad had nothing valuable after all. The thoughtful dark-haired young man knelt with a spear, weighing the burden of carrying multiple spatial rings. Sue prepared the Earth Spirit Spring, while a nervous female character urged him to share it in hopes of easing her weakness. Tension hung in the air as a determined young man with dark hair brought a syringe close to his lips, preparing for a critical moment. A playful female character teased Sue, her confidence shimmering like sunlight, drawing his curious gaze. A silver-haired character expressed relief about feeling better while sitting beside Sue. She mentioned that full recovery would take 3 to 4 hours. Night descended as a thoughtful and strategic young man suggested they rest, sensing the safety of their surroundings. A tense silence enveloped the dark cave, thick with unspoken thoughts and the weight of expectation. The anxious female character reflected on being alone with her senior. A nervous female character agreed to follow the calm and assertive Sue's suggestion, her voice trembling with apprehension as she spoke. A glowing object hovered amidst the trees, captivating the curious and intrigued young man. Sue looked up in amazement. The forest air was refreshing, filling the joyful female character with contentment as she breathed deeply. Sue felt conflicted, recalling his disappointing thoughts from the night before. A calm and helpful young man offered to guide his companion to the forest's edge, reassuring her with his presence. Sue ran through the forest, gripping his spear tightly as urgency propelled him forward. The agile female character followed closely behind, her nerves evident in her movements. A sense of surprise hung in the air as Sue reacted to the presence of the poised female character behind him. A massive flaming tiger erupted into view, igniting fear in the young man with dark hair. Sue identified the creature as a Tier 5 flame tiger. The fiery beast charged towards Sue and a companion, filling the air with tension. Sue reacted with alarm while his companion stood in shock. A tense atmosphere lingered as a cautious and observant young man watched a beast fleeing in panic. The senior commented on the beast's terrified expression. A startled young woman called out urgently as Sue turned away, his tension evident in the air around him. A pack of ferocious, glowing-eyed wolves chased a determined young man with dark hair, their hunger palpable in the tense atmosphere. The tension thickened as a worried character warned Sue about the danger of the iron-eating rat, emphasizing its potential threat. A sense of urgency filled the air as a determined female character grabbed Sue's hand, urging him to flee from the impending danger. The forest echoed with growls as a determined young man with dark hair fled, his heart racing from the fear of the menacing wolves behind him. A sense of urgency surged as a determined young man with dark hair ran through the forest, desperate to escape the lurking danger. He shared his concern about the iron-eating rats and their relentless stamina, questioning their chances of survival. The only safe haven was the supply base, located far away, and he urged for a faster way to reach it. Next to him, a fearful female character followed closely, her anxiety palpable in the tense atmosphere. A heavy spear threatened to slow down a determined young man with dark hair as he ran alongside a focused companion. He offered to store the spear in his spatial ring. A surge of energy crackled in the air as a focused and determined Sue gestured with his hand, channeling power towards a targeted point. Sue considered a faster option as he held hands with the surprised female character. Sue carried a startled character, urgency radiating as he prepared to escape their imminent danger. A sense of urgency filled the air as a determined young man with dark hair ran across the grassy field towards the looming structure above him. In a chaotic urban environment, a determined young man with dark hair conveyed urgency about the overwhelming presence of iron-eating rats. A tense atmosphere hung thick in the air as Sue braced himself for the fight ahead. He declared they would have to fight. The female character clung to him, her fear evident. A rush of wind accompanied Sue as he accelerated energetically, gripping tightly onto the nervous figure beside him. He shouted to hold on tight while speeding up. Junior screamed in fright, overwhelmed by the sudden burst of speed. Sue unleashed a surge of electrical energy, striking down 2 iron-eating rats with confident precision. A strategic figure gestured while discussing plans amidst a military backdrop filled with soldiers and armored vehicles. Sue delivered an urgent report to the director about a massive infestation of iron-eating rats threatening the ecological balance of the wilderness. A map of the wilderness lay before him, marked with ominous signs of danger. Sue pointed at the map, noting the fate of ability users who ventured too deep. A tense atmosphere hung in the air as 2 men expressed concern about Sue's precarious situation. A blinding flash illuminated the darkened sky, casting an eerie glow over the restless soldiers. Sue pointed at the lightning phenomenon, urging everyone to look. A soldier exclaimed in alarm about the terrifying lightning. The command ordered an immediate beast danger assessment and granted permission to open fire. A massive energy sphere surged toward the base, radiating ominous energy that filled the air with tension. Sue observed the approaching threat, feeling alarmed and strategizing a response. A furious young man with dark hair unleashed a powerful attack, generating an electric storm that crackled ominously around him. With fierce determination, a young man with dark hair slashed at the soldiers, his fury palpable amidst the chaos of the battlefield. A tense atmosphere enveloped the soldiers as they stared in shock at the mysterious figure. One soldier exclaimed about the TM's unexpected identity. Another soldier commented on the terrifying aura surrounding the figure. A third soldier questioned the familiarity of the silhouette on the TM's back. A military vehicle stood nearby as a calm and reassuring young man with dark hair conveyed relief about their safety. The grateful female character expressed her appreciation for his help. A tense atmosphere surrounded a young man with dark hair as he stood exhausted, approached by another man who looked both surprised and concerned. The man asked if he was student Sue and expressed amazement that he survived the rat tide. Sue, visibly tired, requested a room to rest after running from the mountains for over 40 minutes. A worried and astonished character expressed disbelief about the mountain region's distance and acknowledged Sue's impressive achievement in escaping its dangers. A determined young man with dark hair declined assistance, insisting he could manage on his own, while another character gestured to offer help. A crowd gathered, their eyes wide with astonishment as Sue stood next to the captivating goddess. Onlookers whispered, expressing disbelief about her presence beside him. Some wondered about their relationship, speculating wildly over the implications. One voice rose above the murmurs, declaring that his goddess was stolen. A sudden noise startled a young man with dark hair as he lay in bed, his senses heightened and alert. A cheerful girl with silver hair excitedly greeted a dazed young man with dark hair, relieved to see him finally awake after 2 long days. A concerned young man with dark hair sat up, alarmed by the situation around him. He questioned the female character beside him about the current circumstances. The female character calmly informed him that the rat tide remained unrelenting. She added that the area was still under lockdown and beasts would be scarce afterward. Sue listened intently as the enthusiastic character mentioned the new term starting soon and their plans to return to school together. Sue responded positively to the female character, feeling relaxed in their conversation. She acknowledged his enthusiasm with a thoughtful smile. A playful young woman with dark hair handed a signed photo to Sue, who looked surprised and confused by the unexpected gesture. Sue awkwardly gestured towards the signed photo, feeling embarrassed by the misunderstanding regarding its purpose. The surprised woman reacted to his comment, her confusion evident. A wave of embarrassment washed over a young woman with dark hair as she held her head in disbelief. She lamented too about her mistaken feelings for the senior. A determined young man with dark hair received a photo from an assertive woman who insisted he take it. A determined young man with dark hair watched intently as a confident female character reached for a piece of paper, expressing her desire to keep it. A flirtatious character with long white hair smiled playfully at Sue, teasing him with a light-hearted remark. A flustered young man with dark hair held his phone tightly, feeling overwhelmed by the tasks ahead. He expressed to the unseen listener that he had much to do after sleeping for 2 days straight. A confident female character gestured playfully, offering Sue a ride back instead of taking the train. A yellow convertible zipped down the road with a focused and composed young man behind the wheel. Sue drove calmly, enjoying the moment. A content female passenger sat beside him, relishing the ride. A luxury sports car gleamed under the sun, radiating excitement and prestige. Sue shared his thrill about the TM's advanced features, mentioning its self-driving capabilities. Sue stood outside a modern architectural building, his gaze shifting as a yellow car drove by. A confident young man with dark hair stood next to a shiny yellow car, wielding a sword menacingly, radiating determination and readiness for action. Admiring glances surrounded a charismatic and strong young man as he interacted effortlessly with a charming female character. A confident young man with dark hair walked boldly, boasting about his newfound power. An inquisitive female character asked which dorm zone he was in. A calm and logical young man with dark hair communicated with a decisive female character about their separate zones in the park. A friendly atmosphere filled the air as Sue offered his help to a receptive ally. A confident and poised figure stepped forward, his high-heeled shoes striking the pavement with a distinct sound, commanding attention in the tense atmosphere. A playful girl kissed the young man with dark hair on the cheek, leaving him surprised and flustered. A silver-haired character turned toward Sue, offering a small token as a gesture of gratitude for his life-saving actions. A playful girl waved goodbye while the young man with dark hair stood awkwardly, his face flushed with embarrassment. A playful girl had just kissed the young man with dark hair, leaving him surprised and touching his face in disbelief. A determined and resourceful young woman focused intently on her laptop, searching for information on someone strong yet unknown. The young woman with eager curiosity discovered exciting details on her laptop, exclaiming that freshmen were breaking records across various topics. Frustration bubbled within a determined and assertive young woman as she realized she had mistakenly called Sue a senior all along. A confident and resourceful young man reflected on his gathered mission materials, feeling pleased with 2 space rings and over 25 million yuan in the bank. A determined and strategic thinker evaluated his PowerPoints while gazing at a holographic display, contemplating the missed opportunity for more superpower points. A wave of relief washed over a concerned and energetic friend as he greeted Sue, expressing his worries about a recent rat swarm. A sudden realization struck him: Sue had advanced to second tier, igniting a mixture of shock and disbelief in his friend. A confident and reflective young man sat on a couch, sharing his recent experiences with another character. Sue confidently explained his tier ranking, noting he had escaped death. The amazed character listened intently, processing the shocking news. Ming expressed admiration for Sue's strength, wondering if near-death experiences could really enhance one's abilities so quickly. Still, Sue warned him against rushing into dangerous wilderness zones. Sue playfully gestured while informing his friend that Song had come looking for them multiple times, suggesting a need to get in touch. Sue handed a beautifully wrapped gift to the other character, who looked surprised by the unexpected gesture. A signed photo of the goddess caused an explosion of excitement in Sue. He reacted with intense enthusiasm, unable to contain his joy. A confident woman walked through a lavish library, her purposeful strides echoing softly among the rows of books. Sue sat at a table, confidently sharing that he had earned 871 credits through missions. Then, he commanded EVA to filter S-Rank lightning-type combat arts. A determined young man with dark hair evaluated the S-Rank lightning arts displayed on a holographic panel, considering their impact on his future power growth. A calm atmosphere enveloped the room as Sue focused intently, manipulating the floating file folders around him with precision. A determined young man with dark hair selected 2 glowing techniques, confident they would provide perfect balance between offense and defense. A confident young man with dark hair asserted his unique abilities to others, claiming he could master both magic and melee. A focused young man with dark hair studied the Heavenly Thunder Technique book, recognizing its depth and significance for mastering powerful lightning art. A complex technique weighed heavily on a thoughtful and introspective young man with dark hair as he contemplated its intricacies. He remarked that the technique's complexity made his old all-nighters seem easy. A tired young man with dark hair slumped over a desk, feeling relief after studying. He expressed that he finally grasped the basics and was ready to let the system take over. A determined and focused young man with dark hair slammed his fist on the table, insisting on the importance of deep blue energy in their strategy. Energy arcs crackled around a determined and focused young man with dark hair as he raised his hand, ready to command their power. Electric energy swirled around a frustrated young man with dark hair as he reacted to the shocking point cost for upgrading an S-Rank art. A hint of electricity flickered along his arm as a determined young man acknowledged the warning about using abilities in the library. A determined young woman jogged confidently under the streetlights, her focus unwavering as she prepared for her upcoming challenge. Jin revealed his training routine, expressing shock at his progress and confidence in defeating Su. A hawk dove from the sky, its sharp eyes locked onto an unseen target. Su looked upwards, feeling a chill of alertness wash over him. A determined young woman assessed the beast, noting its speed and camouflage feathers. It was a tough third-tier opponent. A woman stood under the full moon, her eyes filled with concern as she questioned the sudden thunder in the clear sky. A powerful energy sphere crackled with lightning, hovering ominously above Su as he summoned dark energy into the air. A powerful energy burst erupted around a determined young man with dark hair as he unleashed a fierce attack. A powerful lightning strike illuminated the sky, leaving a curious and alert figure questioning its source. A determined young man with dark hair stood confidently as he generated swirling lightning, pondering which senior or instructor had summoned such power. A powerful technique surged through a fascinated young man with dark hair as he activated the S-Rank combat art. Su marveled at the extraordinary power he wielded. A triumphant young man with dark hair stood confidently in the forest, surrounded by crackling energy, marveling at the power of his Heavenly Thunder technique. Su realized it obliterated the ferocious beast. A curious observer recognized the famous freshman Su as he walked away, intrigued by his presence. A determined young man with dark hair prepared to leave his home, ready for the challenges ahead. The other character expressed concern about his early departure. Determined, a young man with dark hair enjoyed his meal, contemplating his recent return from the wilderness zone and his intention to train. A voice called out, startling a young man with dark hair as he turned around in surprise. A cheerful female character greeted a curious and attentive Su, expressing relief at his safe return from the wilderness zone. A confident female character challenged Su to spar, her determination radiating in the tense atmosphere. A confident female champion challenged Su to a spar, asserting her status as the provincial champion of Sichuan. A playful atmosphere buzzed as Su and another character walked, eager to discuss their upcoming sparring session. The enthusiastic character suggested they spar right now. Su agreed, mentioning the training room on the second floor of the dorm. A confident female character teased Su about the value of sparring with her, noting his decisive temperament from Sichuan province. A calculating figure plotted against Su, wondering about his expression upon learning of the second rank advancement. Su stood defiantly, weapon raised, confronting three cautious onlookers who eyed him with a mix of apprehension and curiosity. A confident female character smirked as she expressed hope that Su wouldn't lose too badly later. A tense atmosphere filled the air as a confident young man with dark hair brandished a weapon, ready for a showdown. He declared that without a weapon, the opponent wouldn't stand a chance. The opponent taunted him, questioning if he really had one. A surge of energy crackled in the air as a determined young man with dark hair reached out, summoning an unseen force with unwavering focus. A fierce energy enveloped the arena as a focused and determined young man with dark hair attacked skillfully with his spear, showcasing his martial arts prowess. A determined young man with dark hair noticed the girl wielding a halberd, astonished by her choice of such an uncommon weapon. A confident female character brandished her weapon, taunting her opponent, stating this time she would utterly defeat him. Sue prepared for battle, resolved and focused. A fierce energy surged in the arena as a confident young man with dark hair smiled and gestured positively towards a supportive female character. Electric energy crackled around a confident young man with dark hair, illuminating his defiant stance as he prepared for the challenge ahead. He acknowledged his opponent's progress, expressing that he too had not remained idle. A confident young man with dark hair smirked, explaining that the surprising second-rank upper level was no match for his opponent's abilities. A tense atmosphere filled the arena as a determined young man with dark hair expressed frustration about his opponent's rapid promotion. A charged atmosphere filled the training ground as a determined young man with dark hair prepared for an intense sparring session. He challenged his opponent to continue, but cautioned against using excessive force. A confident young man with dark hair channeled energy, boldly challenging an unseen opponent to engage without holding back. A confident young man with dark hair raised his weapon, radiating assurance as he prepared to face the challenges ahead. Crackling energy surrounded a curious and enthusiastic young man with dark hair who felt amazed by the power of his new ability. He wondered how powerful the Dawn Light ability truly was. A determined young man with dark hair charged forward, brandishing his weapon as he prepared for an intense confrontation. Sue unleashed the light flame gravity array, powerful energy crackling around him. Electric energy crackled around a determined young man with dark hair, his expression fierce as he focused on channeling his newfound power. A fierce young man with dark hair swung his sword, energy bolts swirling around him as he faced his enemy. A determined and skillful woman unleashed flames from her weapon, showcasing her combat prowess. Sue watched the attack with concern, analyzing its effectiveness. Sue praised Song's impressive combat skills, noting her victories in Sichuan, while a surprised character observed him with wide eyes. A rush of adrenaline surged through a determined young man with dark hair as he swung his weapon with enthusiasm. Sue shouted for another round. A tense atmosphere thickened as Sue stood resolutely against multiple attackers, his focus unwavering amidst the chaos of combat. Sue demonstrated halberd techniques, confidently critiquing his training partner's slow moves, urging them to practice more for greater power and speed. A worried young man with dark hair looked intensely at something off-panel, sweat beads forming on his forehead as anxiety filled the air. Sue stood triumphantly, sweat glistening on his brow after mastering a challenging technique. He expressed relief, feeling accomplished after an exhausting task. A confident young woman displayed her spear, boasting that her skills were master level, captivating the intrigued Sue. Astonished, the young woman with dark hair questioned how he achieved such mastery at a young age. A confident young man with dark hair stood tall, while a defeated female character lowered her weapon, surrendering to his skill. Sue gestured invitingly in the training area, encouraging someone to try other combat skills. A confident young woman praised Sue's abilities, stating that his level and spirit surpassed her own, along with his S-Rank ability. A confident young man with dark hair nodded, acknowledging the female character's suggestion to meet at noon. Then, she led away down the hallway. A confident young man with dark hair praised Sue's strength, comparing him favorably to others, even mentioning Song's rapid rise in level. A confident young man with dark hair smirked while explaining that Song was an S-Rank light-type ability 8th rank, renowned in history. A thoughtful and insightful man recalled a powerful figure from history, his expression showing surprise at the significance of the memory. A knowledgeable and assertive man explained that Song Yuan was an S-Rank ability master, admired for his influence and connections in the world. Sue waved goodbye, determined to continue his training and improve his martial techniques. A futuristic building towers over a vibrant green landscape, surrounded by sleek modern skyscrapers. A surge of energy enveloped him as Sue formed glowing, electrified armor, showcasing his newfound power with pride. A holographic interface glowed as a focused and analytical young man examined his stats with determination. He wanted to check how many ability points remained after enhancing his armor. A futuristic library filled with ancient tomes surrounded a pensive and strategic young man deep in thought. He contemplated his dwindling ability points and possible strategies for replenishing them. A determined young man with dark hair confidently announced his commitment to fully prepare for the upcoming freshman competition. A confident young man with dark hair walked among peers, sharing his ambition to place in the top 50 of the freshman competition. A determined young man with dark hair stated his ambition to secure second place, prompting a surprised inquiry from a curious female character about his willingness to fight again. A carefree young man with dark hair remarked on the futility of competition, sharing that winning seemed impossible. Moments later, another young man mentioned the wild prowess of Lee, the provincial champion. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as Sue stood before the competition arena, eager to test a rival's strength. Sue looked over the competition field, noticing TM's unexpected interest in the freshman contest. She expressed surprise that he thought she disliked contests. Confidently mentioned her interest in the competition, noting that someone who intrigued her would be participating. A playful character asked a cautious young man about his romantic interest, curious if it was a male or female. A vast arena sprawled before them, filled with an air of excitement and curiosity. Sue marveled at the sheer size of the arena. Another character questioned the school's extravagance. The crowd erupted with excitement as a young man with dark hair shared that the freshman competition would feature a 100-person melee in a large arena. A crackling energy surrounded a young man with dark hair as he expressed his excitement about the upcoming freshman competition. If you'd like to see your favorite titles retold, leave a comment and I'll be sure to pick some of them up from time to time. Also, let me know which video format you like more, long videos or short ones. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again soon.